I'm honored to be here. In 2016, precisely April, I led a march against the National Assembly because we felt it was taking forever to pass our budget. We locked down the gates of the National Assembly and refused members of the National Assembly accessing the Assembly in Abuja. We did the same thing by November of the same year. However, it was very clear that if we shut down the National Assembly every single day of every single year for the next 50 years, nothing was going to change. The impact of policies on the people is never going to change if the people don't have access to real developmental issues. And so we moved from occupying the National Assembly to occupying farms. And not just occupying farms, but occupying rural Nigeria. Because you see, development everywhere in the world, have always been driven by agrarian industrial revolution. So when people tell me about technology, I say, wonderful, but wait till you talk. What is technology when more than 50 to 60% of your population are in your rural communities? Most of them don't have access to electricity. Most of them don't have access to the national grid. Most of them don't have access to telecommunications. So we moved young guys whose interest was changing the narrative of governance, changing the narrative with regards to economics, changing the narrative with regards to our social structure, changing the narrative with regards to our cultural growth that is capable of defining our economic sustainability project. It is only agriculture that we have as our technology. So we moved, not knowing what was going to happen. We left Abuja, we started looking for land. We left Abuja, moved to Nasarawa State, got about 100 hectares. So from urban Abuja, we migrated to rural Nasarawa and set up what is today the biggest community farm project anywhere in this country. Now, when we got to Nasarawa, I always say that the challenges, everything you see on the slide is happening right now in Nasarawa, was built there between 2017 and today, without one single Oyinbo man coming there, because I told them that we have to first conquer the fear of the mind before you conquer the growth of your country, before you make your country great. So we moved to Nasarawa State. And then a problem that has actually destroyed us as a country is the belief that we are not capable of a diplomatic approach towards solving our problem. And so I called the Fulanis. There are 16 Fulani communities inside the about 1,000 hectares I'm occupying right now. 16 Fulani communities, the Hausa communities, and the Madas, the Igons, and all of them. 16 of them. We called all of them together and said, see, if you're interested in growing your communities, you first have to become friends, brothers, and sisters. And so, for those of you who own cows, if you mess up people's land, we will punish you. For those who have land, if you have any challenge with the Fulanis, let us know. I went back to how I grew up. I am an Urobo man, born in Jos. I grew up in Kaduna. I schooled in Zaria. Got married to a wonderful woman my wife from Anambra. Served in Ondo State. We met in Ondo State during service, the year 2000, 2001. And I told them, in Kaduna, I did not know the difference between a Fulani man and the Hausa man. I didn't know. I got to Kaduna in 1989. I didn't know the difference. So how all of a sudden we are in an era where you have to identify somebody's capacity based on his religion, based on his ethnicity, based on his tribe. And I told them, you know what we're going to do? I will change that orientation and that approach. And so, we made the traditional ruler, then, the head of our security apparatus, brought in the Fulani, brought everybody, and built what we have built. Now, when we did that, we had one singular objective: urban, rural migration. Because that is where the jobs are. Like I said, we succeeded. We succeeded in making that progress that time. Now, when you are making that progress, you begin to talk about what is it aim, what are your aims, what do you want to achieve? We are interested in achieving a real national growth which solves one problem and one problem only: moving Nigeria forward. We have to move this country forward. Look, I have often said that the insecurity in this land is not a problem of the Fulanis, or the problem of the Hausas, or the problem of the Robos, or the problem of the Yorubas. No, it's an economic problem. If you solve the economic problem, you solve the problem of insecurity. Look, if there are 50 industries along the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway generating 10 billion naira every month, there will be no bandits or kidnappers on that road. So let us tell ourselves where the problem lies and then solve the problem. And so we created a model to solve the Nigerian national question, answer the Nigerian national question. And the Nigerian national question, like I said, is an economic question. And once we created that, we built what today, and verifiable, are out there. And what did we build? I need you to understand what we did. We are currently employing over 300 people in that local community. Today, there has not been one single farmers' headers clash in that community since 2017. Not one. Today, in 2019, the vice president was there. The governor of Nasarawa State has been on that side 4 times and is also visiting this year. Today, the Minister of Agriculture has been there, and some of them are coming to see what we have been able to do. In short, last week, I went to deliver a lecture with NISA. Their new program, I Paid, is designed after what we are doing in Nasarawa State. Now, what is the essence of this integration? What is the essence? A community farming project in every rural community in Nigeria, in every local government in Nigeria, is actually the gold mine we have all been missing. And Minna, Niger State, have, if not, I think you have the largest land mass in the whole country. So what agriculture, what rural integrated agriculture can do here is unimaginable. There is a 50 tons per day rice mill on site as I speak to you now. Over 6,000 cattle on site. And not just that, more than 10,000 beds on site. Not just that, you have residents where most of the managers stay on site, inside the farm. Not just that, you have sporting facility. You want to watch football, you want to play football, you have it on site. You want to play snooker, we have it on site. You also want, more importantly, to play table tennis, it's on site. Basketball, we have it on site. Volleyball, you have it on site. The question you're asking is that, which kind of farm be that? Not so? If you don't make agriculture interesting, how do you want the young people to participate in it? It is not all about mechanization first. No. You see, mechanization will be useless if those who are going to utilize those machines don't have an understanding of the machines. And we must get out of this parochial insanity. I call it parochial insanity because why should anybody tell me that I need to become a master in English to grow? What is wrong with all of you? Sorry, the Germans don't speak English. The Russians don't speak English. The Chinese don't speak English. The Portuguese don't speak English. The French don't speak English. Hausa, Igbo, Yoruba, can be productive language. And so the head of the project, Tanko, the head of the local head of the project, doesn't speak English, but is able to repair and fix all of our tractors. He's able to manage the farm. And guess what? The guy today, TEDxMinna, he's in the farm doing what must be done to ensure the place is successful. Now, a project that is currently valued at over 3 billion at this material time. The central bank, seeing what we have done, came to our aid with close to $1 billion to support what we are doing. The state government is trying to come in and see how they can understand that and develop that in other local governments in Nasarawa State. The Minister of of State, Sheuri, is trying to invite all the ministers of Agri, all the commissioners of Agri at the state level to have a look at the model and see how it can be replicated. The reality is this. The challenges will always be there. The challenges of financing will always be there. Like has been our case. You are going to, times will come, like 2020 was for most businesses, where you are going to be challenged with regards to funding, with regards to putting things in place. But the infrastructural gap needs to be provided, and rural infrastructure is not that expensive. If you go to most of the farming communities all over the world, something is clear. What you need in rural farming communities are basic roads, basic healthcare, basic infrastructure. What rural communities give back to you, give back to the country, is massive industrialization and massive productivity. So every rural community in this country must become the central focus of development. Once you lose that, you lose your growth. There is no miracle about this. There is no, see, I always say this, if you like, pray from now to tomorrow. You know the work. For as long as your productive capacity is impaired, your prayers becomes useless. So pray, if you must, but focus on how you grow your country. You see, as we were coming yesterday with the hold up that we had, with tankers blocking the road, I looked at that spot and I saw our youths littering around the place. And I told my driver, I said, you look at this, you look at the road from Abuja all the way to Minna. Look at how many youth we are seeing on the road. That's a time bomb, in case you don't know. I am safer in rural Nasarawa than most people are in Abuja. Why? Because we built a community where the people's interest is number one. Community interest is number two. Once the people's interest is taken care of, and community is taken care of, profitability will naturally come over time. We must get out of this Yahoo mentality. When Nigerians, both investors and Nigerians, think of now. When was the last time any one of us planted a tree? When was the last time? When I was born, 2nd March 1976, my umbilical cord was used to plant kola nuts in the Delta. Now, because I was born in Jos, they had to do this there, there's a way they do it. Our grandmother in the village will go and say, okay, oh, they don't born pikin for me. Oh yeah, I don't plant them. Every year they harvest about 5 bags of kola. And they will call me and say, oh, bros, we don't harvest the kola. What do you go do with them? I go say, sell them. When you sell them, either buy one ogogoro, I'm an Obama, so I drink. Buy ogogoro for my guys. Arrange things. Put them in place. Ensure they are taken care of. Now imagine if every family plants one tree, one economic tree, every day for the next 5 years. You know what is going to happen? If it is oranges you plant, you become the largest exporter of orange in the world. Simple. How can we have simple solutions? How can you have simple solutions in a nation whereby the basic solutions are right in front of you, but instead of doing the easy things, you are building airport that you will never use? How many of us fly the plane? How many of us fly in the plane? And so the project is simply trying to reawaken the national narrative and national consciousness, our national insight, because see, until a nation begins to think, the nation will die. Until a nation begins to think, that nation cannot survive. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. And when I always tell everybody, I tell them this. The only reason I came from the creek of the Niger Delta, I am the militant who became a farmer. The only reason I came from the creek to become a farmer was because of President Muhammadu Buhari. Simple and straightforward. I felt he was honest with his approach. So what did I do? I tapped into it. If the states and the local government put the same energy towards agriculture, it will be a massive revolution across all board. Because let nobody lie to you. The United States was not destroyed, was not, how do you call it, was not built by capitalism or free markets. No. In 2020, just last year, the American government gave farm subsidy worth over $500 billion to their farmers. That is government financing their farms. Well, before Donald Trump left, what did he give? Before he left, there was about $2 trillion support. Biden came, he did the same thing. Government is the only entity with the financial capacity to activate the rural infrastructure where we can now sit on and then progress. If anybody begins to tell you that, no, you see, private sector with it, which private sector? What did I get? What do they have? That is the reality of our time. That is what we are trying to sell in Nasarawa, that should become a template of development for all over this country, all of this country. Imagine a private man building a 33 kVA power line covering about 5 kilometers by ourselves, costing us close to 100 million. Imagine the private farmer building a 500 million cubic liters of water dam, so that we can farm all year round, costing us close to 100 million. Building a water treatment plant, providing water for about 20 communities, and also light for about 20 communities. Why should the private man be involved in something government needs to do to support the people? There's a popular saying that the future comes when the poor will have no food to eat, but the rich. I know a lot of you have seen that future is here. In the 70s and 80s, how many people were kidnapped? In the 90s, okay? Today they are kidnapping every day, isn't it? And majority of this quagmire is originating from rural Nigeria. Because we abandoned that region for so long, now the region is locating us. Now, like I said, Minna, I'm enjoying the city, even though you people almost locked us out yesterday. The reality is this: rural agriculture is the template. Let us grow the way the Americans grew. Let us grow the way the British grew. It's only Hong Kong that you can actually say that it was not developed by agriculture. We will get to a level when we begin to mechanize all our farming process. But the reality of today, with the example of Gati in Nasarawa State, is that first, let us give our people a job. No matter how cheap this job is, let us give them the jobs they need, the job they require. Then, once they have the sustainable jobs that is capable of building them, giving them confidence that yes, we are humans, yes, we can live. Everybody cannot become a billionaire. Everybody cannot become a millionaire. No. Some of us will not be that, but we can survive. Once they can survive, then we mechanize. Once we mechanize, we will industrialize. So survival is the key. And you see, the time we are, the questions we are asking of insecurity, the questions we are asking of our challenge as a country, the questions we are asking of our tribes, the questions we are asking that don't make sense to development are nothing until we are able to answer and ask the questions of economic development. And agriculture is the foundation. There is no other option. Listen, there is no other option. And today, our story is the story of the Nigerian nation. Thank you very much.